Hey guys, and good morning. It is Ju- let's see. It is January 5th, and I have been reflecting on everything that has happened in 2025 for the last week. On New Year's Eve, I made a video that went through all of our pictures. I got to pick like 200 pictures or something like that from our year, and I really just couldn't believe how much has happened in the year 2025. And this is one of those videos where I'm going to talk about my faith. So if that makes you uncomfortable, I hope that you stay. I won't be going on it too hard, but I am going to give the Lord praises for everything that He has accomplished in 2025. So, just a little backstory for us. 2024, we started breeding and getting snakes in 2023. And 2024 was a hard year for our family personally. We had gone through some family changes, some lifestyle changes, and because of just stuff that happened at the end of 2024 that's personal to our family, but we all needed to grow and learn from it, and learn and grow together and grow through it and heal from it. And so that's kind of where my mother brain was in 2025. I was focusing very much on my family, and the whole time kind of doubting if I'm putting too much energy into my business. Is this what the Lord wants for me? And when I started my business, I picked the name Graceful Pythons because, okay, because my me and my husband we're not each other's first marriage, and I came to the Lord late in life, and I was probably I was a little bit of a feminist before I came to the Lord, girl power and all of that stuff. And I was going to run my life, and I was in the military, and I was a strong woman, and I was a single mom, and I had my car. I was doing it all myself, and I took a lot of pride in that. Although it was difficult, it was hard, and it was not the best version of myself, I was very proud of that. And so when I came to the Lord, He worked on that with me. And then when I found my husband, I really did feel that I wanted to do it right. Before I found my husband, I said, God, if I get in another relationship, I want it to be Christ-centered. I want you to be at the center of it. And I knew that if I did that, there was going to be some part of me that would have to pick a husband that I would allow to be the leader, even though I've been the leader of myself for 30 years and nobody was going to tell me what to do. So I do submit to my husband, just not always gracefully. And so I name myself Graceful Pythons to remind myself that grace is important, since I need to be more graceful in how I approach my husband and my family and my kids and my people and my friends, especially when I don't feel like it. So that's why I chose Graceful Pythons as a reminder to me that I need to be more graceful and show more grace, in the same way that Jesus Christ showed grace to me, because I was a complete mess and He still loved me anyways. So that being said, we had a very hard time. So for 2025, I was focusing on being graceful in my family and wondering if I should even do this ball python stuff anymore. And thankfully, my husband was very encouraging in those dark moments. There was not all year, but it was moments of, does this even make sense? Like, our family struggling, does it make sense for me to spend this much time in doing these things? My husband was very gracious with me and got us through that. And as I looked back on this 2025 year, I can see that the Lord was also gracious with me, and the Lord was continuing and to bless this business. And so to me, that's His yes, you are on the right track. This is where you're supposed to be. I want you to proclaim my name through your business, through your whatever you do. In everything you do, I bring Jesus. I don't always preach Him, but I show Him to everybody as much as I can. So He has blessed me in this. And so I just want to go through this year and just talk to you all about some of the blessings, the crazy things that happened in 2025 while I wasn't even expecting to. I think it's important to take a minute to sit back and really appreciate where you came from, so that you can decide what path you should take in 2026. So the first thing that happened in 2025 is that it was the whole entire year that I did a podcast on Not Another Reptiles podcast with Holly and her crew over there. So it started off with me, Holly, Tyler from Tyler's Toxic Balls, and Travis from Python Susie. And I don't think you guys know. We brought Doc on later. Tyler had to stop because he's being fantastic and driven over in New York, and he needed to take a step back from podcasting because he's got a lot of stuff going on over there. But we absolutely love you and support you completely. I don't think you guys know how much and how important that podcast was. It was hard to get on some nights. Like I said, we were coming off a very difficult year in 2024, but it was amazing. You guys were fun. It was great to get on. I had to force myself to do it, but it was a sacrifice worth doing. And I made some major connections with all four of you guys. And Holly's my bestie, and she knows it. And Tyler, Travis, Raphael. I haven't met Tyler or Travis in person. I can't wait to meet you guys. They're hilarious and hysterical. So if you guys aren't doing anything on Thursday nights, check out Not Another Reptile podcast. And then Travis and Raphael have started their own podcast. It's going to be on Travis's YouTube channel, I believe. So that's on Python Susie's YouTube channel. I haven't seen that yet. It's starting, I think, this week. So go check them out. It should be a good time. They're hysterical and funny. And you guys really helped me laugh my way through some hard times in my life. And I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much to each and every one of you guys. Another person who blessed my life this year was Gerald at Forward Motion Reptiles. A little known fact, Gerald and my husband served together in the Navy. And he's not one of those guys that I talk to all the time, but he's one of those guys that we consider family because of it, I believe. It was so fun when we first started doing ball pythons in 2023. They reconnected over some other thing that had to do with personal stuff with them. And we found out we were both breeding ball pythons. And he was much farther along than we were. But it was just really fun to talk to someone else. That was our first network connection to people that bred ball pythons. Because at this point, it was just us checking things out on YouTube and saying, hey, let's do this weird thing. So thank you, Gerald, for being our first connection in 2023. And thank you so much for what you did for us in 2025. So for those of you who haven't been following our channel, Gerald kind of doubled our number of snakes. He was getting a promotion at work and wanted to really focus his collection. At the same time, thinking about focusing his collection on ultramel clowns. So if you guys are looking for any ultramel clown stuff, like follow him. He's going to have some killer stuff coming out. But that means some of the other things that he was working on, he was looking for someone to help move them, take over the projects. He was very project focused and driven. And so the other stuff that we got from him was genetic stripe clown, all het combos, but mixed in with some amazing genes. I can't wait to see what we're going to do with that. So thank you, Gerald, for those animals. We also got into the hurricane stuff. He gave us some pretty we acquired some pretty hurricane stuff from him. And we also got a gorgeous mystery snake that you guys keep watching the channel and you'll see some of the stuff. We're going to try to see if what she looks like is reproducible. So I love her a lot. Her name is Annabelle Lee. And if you follow along this year, you'll be able to see some of her babies. I'm pretty sure she'll be laying eggs for us next month. So thank you, Gerald. Your thought to reach out to us has definitely changed the course of Graceful Pythons business. You allowed us to have stronger breeding stock, more genetically powerful breeding stock in a direction that I was curious about going, but hadn't decided to dip my toes into yet with the genetic stripe clowns and the cryptic clowns. And the cryptic clowns, we'll talk about that later. But because we got a boy, actually I'll talk about it now. We got a boy from Charlie because of the snakes that we got from Gerald. They were a lot of females growing up, not quite breeding size ready, but females growing up, probably, not juveniles, but not like subadults. Yeah, subadult females. And so we got a breeder male from Charlie at Reggie and Renee Reptiles this year. I'm super excited for him. And he is a HRA cryptic DG het G-stripe. So that's the direction we're moving with our G-stripe projects. Stay tuned for 2026 because that's going to be amazing. But all of that kind of panned out in 2025 and I had never expected to go in that direction. So thank you, Gerald, for trusting us with your breeders. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for being such a good friend to us and to my husband when you guys served. And I love you. And Cheryl, and you guys are amazing. And just thank you so much. Stay tuned, and we hope to make you proud with everything you've entrusted in us. The next thing that was so dramatically changed my business in 2025 was Shane Kelly's Small Town Exotic Patreon. We decided when I first got in, I realized I was gonna breed. We didn't know what we were doing, and I wanted to get some ideas on how to run the business. I joined Billy's Patreon for Mutation Creation, and that is a fantastic Patreon. There's a lot of learning, there's a lot of education, there's a lot of driven people in there, and it's fantastic. I learned a lot. But when I heard that Shane Kelly was going to be starting a small town Patreon, I jumped into that one as a no-brainer. I think the first month I switched and I jumped into that. I'm so fortunate to live in East Tennessee and have so many powerful breeders and so many well-known breeders in East Tennessee for ball pythons and other for ball pythons and other snakes. There's just national level breeders here in the Knoxville area. So many of them, and it's amazing. And from Shane Kelly Small Town Patreon, I started to understand the importance of networking with those people and going to larger shows. Shane asked me to be the den mother for his Patreon, which was, I was surprised, but it's just been amazing. From the part of the responsibility with that is helping him plan and coordinate events. And we planned our first Reptiles on the River this last June. And it was amazing. It was a whole weekend thing where we invited anyone from the $5 tier, I think it was the $5 tier and down, could come to the rafting on Saturday. So Friday night, I hosted a dinner for all the people that were driving in or local people, anyone. For Friday night, I hosted a dinner at my house and then and showed everyone. It wasn't nearly this many animals, but showed everybody these animals. I had literally just gotten the animals from Gerald, so those were downstairs in quarantine, and we moved these animals, all of our other animals, upstairs, and they all came over and looked at them. It was a ton of fun. So Friday night I hosted dinner. Saturday we did river tube. It's like a tube rafting down the river and a cabana hangout and lunch, and then we did dinner at a local restaurant. So that was a ton of fun. And then Sunday morning for that weekend, everyone that was in the top 2 tiers, it was either top tier or top 2 tiers. Shane, you'll have to correct me in the comments on that one. But he invited those people over for breakfast at his house on Sunday morning. Shane cooked breakfast with these breakfast burritos that were amazing and yummy with Mexican flavors and some sausage. I don't know. It was really, really good. And then he showed off his snake room, and we did a snake room tour and the egg cutting, which was fun because one of the people in the top tier of the Patreon had not actually bred any eggs yet, and so it was the first time where he got to see an egg cutting, and Shane actually had him cut an egg. That was just really fun to watch. That's the environment that Shane has made in his Patreon. Is just a family friendly, supportive education, like help the other person out type of deal, where it really are she calls it the small town tribe, but it's really like a family. You've done something really amazing with that Patreon, Shane. And I know that that Patreon has made me a more confident breeder. It has made Ashley, it was so much fun to meet Ashley and Tana on the river rafting. They flew in Ashley from Carolina. Ashley from Catalina Morph Mixer. Sorry, I'm getting old and I get brain farts. And then Tana and Kurt's sister Danny from Contrast Morphs. It's just been meeting you ladies has been amazing. And we've made fast friends on that trip. And they're some of my favorite people in the group. Tana, Ashley's been breeding. Ashley is such a light in the community and such a sweet person. If y'all don't know her, she'll make sure you do. You can't not know her. And then Tana's new. They actually had their first clutch. Go give them both a follow on Instagram. They're just fantastic ladies. And you guys have blessed my 2025. Getting to meet all of you and make friends with you guys has also been something that was unexpected. And I really is probably my favorite part of 2025, is meeting the people, and all of that stemmed from Shane's Patreon. And another thing is that he pushed me and well, not pushed me, but encouraged me to go to these bigger shows. I had never been to a bigger show. Tinley seemed so far away. Daytona seemed so far away. But I knew that thankfully in 2025, newer shows, local shows, or newer shows and bigger shows around us started. So SERE started. Shane we went to that in February, and that was amazing. Shane promoted it a ton in his Patreon. A lot of his Patreon people went there. A lot of people's Patreons went there. That was such an amazing time. I was just starstruck the entire time I walked through there February. If you guys go back on my Instagram feed, I'm going to forget everybody that I met. I'm not going to name everybody, but the ones that stuck out to me was meeting Nikki from Irresistibles. That was amazing. She's just as sweet in person as she is on her Instagram page. Craig from Code Bashers. I didn't know what to say to him. I probably just don't I don't know what to say to Craig, but it was just amazing being able to meet Craig. And then Bob Vu. I got a picture with Bob Vu, and that was because of my husband. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to talk to Bob Vu. I don't know who he is. I can't just approach Bob Vu. He's busy. It's his show. But no, my husband made me go up and say hi to him. And so now I have a picture of me and Bob. So yeah, that was really fun. The second SERE was, I believe, in August, and Shane was going, and he promoted the show again in his Patreon by offering a vendor's badge at his table and a hotel stay off of a raffle. So you bought the raffle tickets, and then the winner would get the vendor's badge and be able to vend with him, and a hotel stay. And we happened to have won that giveaway. So that was amazing. And I got to vend behind the table. Now, I thought I was going to be vending with Shane, but I ended up vending for the Harbins. So it's still like a little funny thing that they tease each other about how the Harbins stole me, and I had me vending their deli cup table at SERE. But it was a blast either way. And it was just so much fun. And then he talked me into going to Nashville, AARP, and that was amazing. Troy knows how to put on a show there also. It was such a fun time. And now that was all of that networking opportunity, all of the education. Oh, for another thing that I got to do because of Shane's Patreon was the Harbins came over and we did an ultrasound video. They ultrasound Bertha. She ended up giving me 11 eggs that year. And I got so much education from them. So how to ultrasound, feeding schedules, Jean's discussions with Alicia. That girl loves to talk Jean combos all the time. I love to pick her brain. She's just a fascinating person. And being able to really know these people, really connect with these people, Shane's Patreon. It happened for me. That's how all of that worked. It would have taken me years to build up these connections if I tried to do it on my own. I'm so blessed to live in Tennessee, to have known these people. And Shane, you're doing fantastic on connecting people. So I'm just forever grateful. And the entire Shane's Patreon group, the Small Town Tribe, you guys definitely changed my 2025 and blessed me beyond. So another thing to remember to do in 2026 is to make sure you have enough space on your phone when you're video recording. So I'm back to it now. So basically, Shane's Patreon is awesome. You guys really blessed my 2025 more than I can say. I can't wait to do 2026. If you guys are looking for a fantastic Patreon, you obviously know which one that I recommend. And I would get in there before the next Reptiles on the River, which is this June. So I hope to see you all there. And I cannot wait for the next one. It's going to be a blast. The next thing that was awesome about 2025 is surprise animals. So again, Gerald's changed my whole breeding plan. Thank you, Gerald. You are your own special segment, but you also fit into this one too, so you get double thanks. These ones that I'm talking about, though, is just out of the blue surprise, came from Muscles and Geeks, and they reached out wanting to minimize some animals, and I got into some new combos, which was amazing. So we got into the blackhead with some combos and hypos with some combos, high intensity orange dream with some combos. It's going to be fabulous. So we'll watch out for those. I'm really excited to see what blackhead does. Blackhead hypo Mojaves are beautiful. And so thank you so much to Muscles and Geeks for trusting us with those babies too. And I can't wait to see what we could do with them in the coming years. And I really love it. We were looking to get into Blackhead, and so it's just good timing for you and good timing for us. And thank you for thinking about us and reaching out. And I'm glad we were able to make a deal on that. And it's just been amazing, amazing. So those are the highlights of my 2025. We also started vending, and vending is a blast. I thank every single person in our local community that has come out to the Repticon shows and the Knoxville shows to support us. Meeting all of you guys has been amazing. There's been so many families that we have now have a Graceful Pythons pet in their home, and we're just so fortunate to be part of your story. There was one little girl in particular. There's two kids in particular. One was and they're grandmas. So I'm gonna just say there's two families in particular who stands out to me this year that you all do, but there's two stories that are really, really sweet. And one of them, they're both grandmas. They're both grandmas wanting to buy snakes for their grandkids. The first one, she was with a boy who was turning 16 years old, and I still get messages from him on how his snake is doing. And she was just so nervous. She wanted to make sure that he could get a snake, but she was scared or a little nervous of him. So she walked around the show, came and talked to us, let him hold some, walk around the show, came back. And by the end of the show, I had her touching and holding this little baby banana, and she ended up getting him for her grandson. And it was just awesome. And they're all doing great. And that was our very first show, and that was so much fun. And then something else happened again at our second show that was like that. There was a sweet grandparents was looking for a snake for their granddaughter, but they weren't sure that she could feed them. And I said, well, if you guys want to come over, I can show her how we do frozen thawed, and she can feed all of the babies that I have. And so she could get real confident with it. You guys can watch her. And so that's what I did. And it was just really sweet to be able to educate her. She's like, I don't know, 11. I don't know. But it was just a really sweet moment to have her at the house, have the grandparents at the house, being able to see our setup and see the snakes, and then walking them through how to feed them and teaching her how to feed her snake. It was just such a sweet and precious moment. Not to mention every family that I connected with at a show, every mom and dad and kids that I connected with, whether you bought a snake or didn't buy a snake, you made my 2025. It was amazing. It was our first year of vending, and you guys made it so easy. And I just really enjoyed meeting every single person that I met at the show. And I can't wait to see you guys again in 2026 and meet new people in 2026. Please, if you bought a snake from us, let me know how the babies are doing. I'd love to hear about that. I love when customers reach back out to me if they have any questions. I want to set my snakes up for success, and I want to set you guys up for success. And so communication is key in that. And you guys have been awesome. You're rocking it. All my families that have Graceful Python ball pythons, you guys are great. And I love it. You guys have been amazing. So that's my 2025. On a year where I was focusing on my family, not really, going through the motions with my business. So much growth had happened, and sometimes you just need to get out of your way and let the Lord work. And man, did he work this year through Graceful Pythons. You guys have been amazing. Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you. Here are the lessons that I learned from you guys and from the Lord in 2025. First off is trust in the Lord always. He's working when you don't see it, and sometimes you have to take a step back after everything's done and really see how he's worked in your life. But I can see him working this year in my life, and I'm just so blessed to be able to have the hindsight to be able to see that, and that will strengthen my faith and my foresight, hopefully, in the future. So thank you, God, for standing in my business. Like I said, I had planned to have 12 pairings last year. We only had 2 clutches, but man, you took care of us. I couldn't imagine having all of this plus the babies. So Lord, you know better than me. And thank you so much for guiding my business in 2025. The second lesson I found out is find your people. In whatever you're doing, we are better together. You can't do this alone. So find your people, because that's really important. And if you don't have people, or if you look around you and you find yourself without people, reach out to me. I want to be your person. So find your people, and then learn to lean on those people. Lean on others. Talk to them. If there is no dumb question, the only dumb question is a question not asked. So find your people and then lean on those people. Trust the people that God has placed in your life because they're there for a reason. And so explore what that reason is and then build others up. When you have the opportunity to repay the kindness that was given to you, do it. Do it. There's so many people that helped me out this year that it's just been out of the kindness of their heart. Repay that. God will give you a chance to repay that to others, and it is a debt that we owe. So trust in the Lord, find your people, lean on others, and then when you can and when you're ready, build others up. Thank you guys so much for 2025. I can't wait to start talking to you about 2026. Until next time, go outside, touch some grass, have an adventure, and please, please remember just how much you're loved.